Thank you guys all so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate it so much. I know we've got a ton of teams here tonight from all over the country, all over the country, all over America, use the States and Canada. Gosh, Canadians hate it when I say America, and I just can't stop. So thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm so honored to get to speak into your lives tonight. If you're on this call tonight, it is because you were invited by your upline coach, obviously. Most of you have no idea who I am, and that's totally cool. I'll just introduce myself. My name obviously is Josh Coates. I'm a speaker, coach, and trainer on the John Maxwell team. How many of you have heard of John Maxwell? If you've heard of John Maxwell, raise your hand. Okay, if you haven't heard of John Maxwell, Google him, please. He's the #1 leadership trainer on the planet, according to Inc. magazine. He's wrote The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership is the best-selling leadership book of all time. It's actually selling better today than it did when it came out. He's authored over 80 books. I don't even know. I've never even read. Has anyone on here even read 80 books? He has actually wrote over 80 books, which is just crazy to me. So I'm a part of his team. It's basically a certification that you go through, and I get mentored by him and a handful of people that he hand-selected to basically train people. Forgive me for my cough. Some of you are on this call tonight because I had to cancel a call a few weeks ago because I was like dead sick for 2.5 weeks. I actually thought that maybe I was going to die at the age of 32, which would have been horrible for someone who drinks Shakeology every day. But you know what? I survived. I made it. Doctor gave me a good steroid shot. So tonight I got some really cool giveaways. I'm going to give away 3 free spots in my training groups that I run. 3 free spots to my group called Clarity and Focus, which is specifically to help coaches get their focus and get their momentum so that they can build their business and get some positive results. So I'll be giving that away at the end, only for people on live. Obviously, this is recorded. Afterwards, I'll make sure all of your upline coaches get the link so that it can get shared in team pages. It'll be on my YouTube page. You can share it with anyone you want. But the giveaway is just for people that are on live tonight. So thank you for being on live. Tonight, I'm going to talk about something, one of my favorite things to talk about, and that is overcoming your fears. Has anyone on this call ever dealt with a fear in your business? Anybody? Has that ever happened to you? Okay, maybe I'm preaching to the wrong choir tonight. I don't know if you guys have never been afraid before. I don't know about you, but my business personally, I struggled with fear like crazy, especially my first year. Now, I still deal with fears today. I always say, at every single new level, you're going to face a new devil. There's always going to be a new fear that you face. And that's why it's so important to understand how to overcome fear. Because if you don't understand how to overcome fear, you're going to think there's something wrong with you, right? Have you ever just thought, man, maybe I just don't have what it takes? Like, I see my upline coach, I see top 10 coaches, I see elite coaches, and they seem to have it all together. They seem to have everything, and I just don't have any of it. And so maybe I just don't have what it takes. When really what you don't realize is that everyone at every level in this business, in every other business on the planet, anyone and everyone that is pursuing a higher level of life, a higher level of success, is dealing with fear every single day. The difference is not do we or do we not have fear. The difference is do we or do we not face our fears. And so tonight I want to teach you, first of all, what fear is, why fear is, and then how to overcome it. I think it's very, very important that we understand what it is and why it is first. Because otherwise I can teach you how to overcome fear. You can take my 3 steps and you can walk through it, and then guess what's going to happen? Next week, you're going to have another fear. And the week after, you're going to have another fear. And after a few weeks of this, you're going to start thinking, okay, Josh was crazy. Apparently, there's just something wrong with me. You need to understand it all comes down to mindset. I 100% believe that everything in life that happens is a result somehow of our mindset. There's actually a scripture in the Bible that says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Pretty much everyone on the planet agrees that this thing in between our ears is like really important. And if we don't get that part right, we can do everything else right and it won't matter. In fact, you can lose 100 pounds, but if you don't get things up here right, you'll put it right back on. Why? Because you still see yourself as overweight. You still see yourself as unhappy. You still see yourself as imperfect. And honestly, even if you're the skinniest person on the planet, if you don't see yourself up here the way you should, it really doesn't matter, does it? Because you'll still look in the mirror and be unhappy. And at the end of the day, it's not about looking good. It's about feeling good, right? It's about being happy with the person that you see in the mirror, being happy with the person you wake up with every single morning, right? So let's talk about what fear is. This is a definition from the dictionary. Apparently those still exist. Fear is an emotion induced by a threat perceived, which causes you to run away, freeze, or hide. How many people in your business have ever been frozen? Anybody? How many of you, apparently you obviously all came back, but how many of you for a season have ran away? Probably several people. Maybe didn't actually officially quit and have to wait the 6 months to come back, but maybe for a week or two, maybe for a month or two, you kind of stopped posting on social media, kind of like drank Shaco once a week instead of once a day. How many of you have ever hidden? Have you ever hid in your business? Have you ever looked at the 3 vital behaviors and you see product of the product, I think I'll hide from that one today. Let's move on to personal development, right? How many people have ever struggled to start new convos on a daily basis? Come on, raise your hand. Everybody's been there, right? Everybody. I've talked to hundreds of Beachbody coaches. I know what's in your head. You don't even have to tell me. I know people struggle with starting new convos, okay? So fear is an emotion induced by a threat perceived. In other words, we think that there's a threat. Notice it doesn't say there actually is a threat. It says we perceive a threat. And when we perceive this threat, it causes us to do one of 3 things, or sometimes all 3 things: run away, freeze, or hide. I love this analogy that a youth pastor gave me a long time ago when I was a young buck. He said, fear is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. In other words, it's something that we think is going to happen. You know, the other day, actually it was just last night, I was laying in my bed and I swear I saw something like whoosh through the room. And I was just like, looked around, scared the crap out of me. Now, my wife right now is pregnant with kiddo number 4. And so since I've been sick the last 2.5 weeks, I completely contaminated our bedroom the first couple of days of being sick. So my wife, not wanting to get sick since she can't take all of the medicine that I can, she moved herself out into another room. She went and bought a, real nice bullet bed. I promise I didn't kick her out. I'm not a mean husband, but she was like, dude, you have coughed and snotted all over this room. Like, I got to get out of here. And I totally did too. So she got out. So I'm laying in there by myself and I hear this through the room. And I was just like, that's weird. But then I remembered, oh yeah, my 5-year-old sometimes gets up. I was like, Pax? And he didn't answer. And I was like, why would Paxton be in here? My wife is in the other room that's on the way to this room. Surely he would have found her first because that's who he likes to go to anyways, right? So then I just laid there. I was just kind of freaked out a little bit because I know I heard something and it wasn't outside. It was like in my room. So I'm like kind of freaking out and I was like, Josh, you're a grown man. Just go back to sleep. You'll be fine, right? So then I hear it again. I was just like, what is happening? What is going on in my room? So then finally I'm like, Paxton, are you in here? And I hear him cry. And I'm like, thank God it was my 5-year-old, because if it wasn't my 5-year-old, I don't know what the heck's in my room, but I'm scared to death of whatever the heck it is. See, it was false evidence appearing real. Really, it was a 5-year-old kid who just wanted a drink of water. But man, I was pretty spooked out. Like, I didn't know if I had like a ghost in my room. I didn't know if like there was some like burglar like wishing around in my room, like of the really, really quiet burglar, if that is one. But whatever it was, I was scared for no reason. And it's funny how many times in life, and especially in business, we get spooked and scared out of something that really doesn't even exist, right? So that's what fear is. Let's talk about why fear is, okay? Because there actually is a reason for fear. This isn't something that just happens just for the fun of it because like God wanted to have a sense of humor and like sit around and like laugh at us. Like fear, there's an actual real reason for it. There's a piece of our brain, and it's like a little trigger, and its only job is to sense out. Whew, somebody just unmuted themselves, I think, on accident. You have some really loud music playing. Where are you? Okay, got him. That was weird. Somebody's like really getting down, like really getting down during my call, which is totally cool. Maybe we'll have some jams at the end. So this part of our brain, its only job is to try to figure out when we have unconquered or undiscovered territory. Please write those two words down. Unconquered or undiscovered. And anytime we come across unconquered or undiscovered territory, this little trigger, its job is like to be a fire alarm. Okay? You ever been like in bed in the middle of the night, your fire alarm goes off? It freaks you out, right? You jump out of bed, it startles you and forces you into action, right? This little trigger in our brain, its only job is anytime it senses any type of undiscovered or unconquered territory, it literally goes off like a fire alarm. And it floods our entire body with emotions, saying exactly what we learned about the fear definition: run away, freeze, or hide. Basically, this trigger is trying to scare us to running away and finding a safe place. And it's crazy because we don't need this quite as much in modern day. But think if you're a caveman and you came walking out of your cave one day and you saw a saber-toothed tiger. Now, I'm a very curious person. And if it were not for this part of my brain, I might want to try to pet it or feed it, right? I mean, saber-toothed tigers, those are cool, man. Those things are like awesome. If I saw one of those in person and I didn't have Google and I didn't have, the Discovery Channel or anything else to tell me what a saber-toothed tiger is, I would just be like, that thing is cool. Like, I wonder if I could ride it. And what would happen? I would get eaten, right? There would be no more Josh, no more legacy leadership. He got eaten by a saber-toothed tiger because the dude was an idiot, right? That's what would happen if we did not have this part of our brain. And so the thing is, this part of our brain is actually very important. It's very valuable, but we need to understand this part of our brain has no logic to it whatsoever. Absolutely no logic. Which means it never stops and thinks, is this a logical reason to be startled and turn off the fire alarm? Is this actually something that I should be scared of? Or is this just like something kind of silly? You see, I think God assumed that we were smart enough to actually use our brains every once in a while, to actually stop and think, okay, the fire alarm is going off. Is there a good reason for it? Now, I don't know about you, but the fire alarm goes off in my house all of the time, and I realize it's just because I'm a bad cook and I burned something. So nobody needs to get scared. Nobody needs to run out the back door. It just means Dad is cooking tonight, and he forgot to pick up a frozen pizza, so he's actually trying to cook a real meal, and he burned everything like he always does, and now the fire alarm is going off, right? We're pretty logical when it comes to like certain life circumstances, but then when it comes to our business, Every time that fire alarm goes off, we take off running for the hills, right? Let me give you a few examples. When you first signed up, let's go back to your health journey, okay? Let's go back to when you bought your very first challenge pack. I know some of you bought a challenge pack as a coach, but many of you bought it just as a customer, as a challenger. And I bet you $1 million when you ordered that very first challenge pack, you were scared to death. Because most of you just dropped about $150 unless 21-day fix was on sale. Maybe you got it for $140. Some of you bought a Sean T program though and spent like $180 or $200, right? This stuff's expensive, man. That guy, like, man, he's crazy. And then he kills you for like 30 minutes or whatever. Man, he like makes you pay a lot of money to just whoop your butt. That's not fair, Sean T, but he's good at it, right? And the second you ordered it, I bet you started thinking like this. I wonder if Shakeology is even worth that kind of money. What if Shakeology tastes like dog food? What if Shakeology makes me sick? What if the workout programs are so hard that I can't even do them? What if I get the workout program and it doesn't give me any real results? What if I get it and I can't stick to the program just like the last 5,000 diets that I tried? All of these fears start coming up, right? And some of you almost quit before you even press play the very first day. Some of you almost or did quit after pressing play the first day. You're like, my fears were right. This Sean T guy is crazy. Screw this. I'm going to go back to the treadmill, right? Some of you were like, this is crazy. But here's the thing. If you woke up every single day and kept pressing play over and over and over, eventually you realize working out every day does suck, but it's a really fun kind of suck where I get the kind of results that I want. And there's this excitement that comes from it. And there's like this fulfillment that I get from taking care of myself and taking care of my health, right? But then you sign up as a coach because someone reached out to you in a challenge group and they said, you know what? You're already so encouraging and inspiring in the challenge group. You already do the work of a coach. Why don't you just sign up as a coach and get paid for it? How many people heard that line? Come on. If you didn't hear that line, I wonder, come on, guys, this is a good line. Everyone uses that line. Like, write that down if you aren't using it. Jeez. And so you get told this and you're like, okay, cool. I'll sign up to be a coach. I'll give it a try, right? And then you start thinking, what if I haven't had big enough of a transformation yet? What if I can't help people? What if nobody wants to sign up with me? What if nobody wants to join my team? And you start having that whole cycle of fears again, right? But for those of you that stuck with it and have put in the time, put in the energy, put in the effort, you've probably found that you have actually helped a ton of people on their health journey, right? Some of you have even gone to a new level and helped other people build successful businesses. Some of you have actually helped people quit their day job because you have mentored them and helped them to become a successful Beachbody coach. And then comes the new fear. Oh my gosh, I'm recruiting people and I have this team. What if I'm not a good leader? What if I'm not good enough to help other people with the business? I know I helped them with their fitness goals. I know I helped them with these other things, but what if I'm a sucky leader? What if I don't have that natural leader intuition? What if I'm not a fun, exciting person? What if I don't have what it takes? And once again, we face another fear. But if you keep pushing forward, you keep taking it one day and one step at a time, eventually everyone realizes they do have what it takes to be a good leader. It's just like everything else. It just takes time. So every single person on this call, I promise you, no matter where you're at in your business, all of you are struggling with some type of fear right now, myself included. Okay? I face fears every single day. So I want to give you the 3 things that I personally use to overcome fear on a regular basis that has helped me through my business. For those of you that don't know my story, I signed up for the John Maxwell team. Actually, 2 years ago yesterday is when I signed up for the John Maxwell team. My entire first year in business, I signed 2 clients. Yes, that's 2 clients in 12 months. That's the equivalent of one of you selling 2 challenge packs in an entire year. Really, really bad. I'm pretty sure the John Maxwell team had some type of bet going around to find out when Josh Coates was going to quit the John Maxwell team, because apparently he is not cut out for this, right? But I kept pushing. I kept moving forward. I kept facing my fears. I kept using these things that I'm about to teach you right now. And within, actually in October, let me backtrack a little bit. My first year, 2 clients, okay? And then in my second year, the first 2 or 3 months, I signed 5 clients. And then from month 3 of the second year to month 9 of the second year, I signed 25 clients, quit my day job, more than doubled my income. And now I live life by design. I literally get paid to sit at home behind a computer and talk to awesome people like you. Is that not freaking rad? I make 2.5 times the money I used to make detailing cars to sit behind a computer and talk to awesome people. I don't clean people's cars anymore. I don't vacuum carpets. I don't clean out, oh my gosh, soda out of like all of the cup holders. When you leave cups in there too long, it's not funny, guys. It really does leak through, and then someone has to clean that crap up. And I used to be that guy. And now I get to be this guy, doing the thing that I love, doing the thing that I'm passionate about. And I believe that every single one of you can be that person that wakes up every single day and does what you love for a living. And if you're already doing that, let's help more people to do it. Let's face our fears and let's help even more people, okay? So number one way we face our fear is we say it out loud. Now, remember, this part of your brain that tries to scare the crap out of you has no logic, absolutely no logic to it whatsoever. It's all based on emotion and assumption. And let's face it, I don't know about you guys, I always tell people, like, me and my wife are kind of opposite of most couples. Like, I'm kind of the emotional weird one in the relationship. She's the one that's like, dude, get your act together. And I'm like, babe, but it's so hard. Life is so rough. And I'm over here like freaking out and I'm all emotional and crazy, which is why I work great with Beachbody coaches, because 98% of you are women and I understand what's happening, okay? I'm kind of a woman on the inside of my head, okay? I'm just going to say it out loud. And we are very, very emotional beings, dudes included. It's just that most dudes, unlike me, usually hide those emotions and don't talk about them. Kind of a weird dude that doesn't hide my emotions, and I like to talk about them. I'm just weird, okay? But here's the thing. We bottle these emotions in, and it makes it so hard to make good judgment decisions because it's all based on feeling instead of logic. And honestly, if we would just use our brain for half a second, we would realize that the thing we're scared of is really just a 5-year-old laying at the end of our bed. Right? How many of you have been scared to death of starting a new conversation? Come on, raise your hand. Go ahead. Raise it up high. There you go. Hello. Now, think about this for a second. 90% of you are scared to start new conversations because you're afraid of rejection. Okay? Now, here's the thing. What I have learned is from every 10 people you message, at least 5 or 6 of them will just straight up ignore you. Right? And some of you hate that. You're like, oh my gosh, they ignored me. That means they hate my guts. That means they don't want to talk to me. But really, if you think about it, if they ignore you, they just actually saved your life because you don't have to have the conversation. Do you see how silly that sounds to say that I'm scared that someone won't respond? Wait a second. You just told me you're scared to have a conversation. So if they don't respond, that means you got to just completely skip that whole process. You win. You still get to check it off your list, but you don't actually have to have that conversation that you were so scared of, right? The other thing is that you're scared that they will actually respond and you won't know what to say back. Am I right? Is anybody scared of that? What if they respond? There's only a script for the first line. There's not a script for line 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. What do I do? How do I handle this? Let me ask you this. If I were to come up to you in the store and say, hey, Chrissy, how you doing today? I saw that you had a great Valentine's Day yesterday. Could you tell me a little bit about that? And then she said, actually, I did have a great Valentine's Day. Even though it's snowing and -4 degrees here, we had a good time. What would I say in person? I'd probably say, that's cool. Me and my wife went out for Valentine's Day too. Actually, I took her to get some food, and we went to our favorite little cafe and got some coffee, and we just hung out and had a good time. Now, hold on a second. That seemed too easy, because all I did was ask a question, and then when she responded, I showed interest in what she said, and then I responded with something of my own. But you see, in here, all of that fear and all of that emotion is like, what if we say the wrong thing? Like, what was I going to say? That me and my wife like killed a couple behind the cafe and we hid their bodies? Like, what would you actually say that's wrong in person to someone? You wouldn't, right? But you are so caught up in fear and so afraid that you actually start to say weird things because you're so afraid of what you should or shouldn't say, when really you should just be talking to them just like it was Joe Schmo that you ran into at the grocery store. If you say it out loud, hopefully you realize having a conversation is not that scary of a thing. And even if they think you are an idiot, guess what? It is a person on Instagram that you've never even seen in person. You will never, ever see them again. Have you ever been in the grocery store and someone was like, hey, @FitNicole, I saw you on Instagram the other day? No, nobody knows who the heck you are. And if they do know who you are, chances are you're talking to the wrong people. Because you're not going to sell 100 challenge packs to your mom and your aunt and your sister, okay? Your very first month, that works. And then after that, I'm telling you, nobody in your family ever wants to talk to you again. In fact, you say hi and they go, no, we don't want Shakeology. No, we're good, right? So here's the thing. You should actually be talking to strangers. And then it makes it hurt a lot less when they reject you because they're strange. They're strangers. You don't know them, okay? So say it out loud. Process. When we say it out loud, it allows it to come out of our emotions and back into our ears where there is actual logic taking place, okay? If that doesn't work, number 2, and this is my favorite thing to do, ask yourself this question. What do I have to lose versus what do I have to gain? What do I have to lose versus what do I have to gain? Let's keep rolling with convos because I know how much everyone is scared to death of convos, okay? I'm just going to beat this horse dead, okay? Let's say you say it out loud, you talk it through maybe even with a good friend, and you're still really scared of this whole conversation thing, okay? This is scary stuff, right? Super scary. So then you decide to ask yourself, what do I have to lose versus what do I have to gain? Here's why I love this, because it puts things into such good perspective. Okay. What do I have to lose if I do listen to my upline coach and message 5 new people every single day? Okay, let's think about it for a second. Number 1, you're going to lose 10 or 15 minutes of your time. Okay? 10 or 15 minutes of your time that honestly most of you would have spent scrolling your news feed, taking a picture of your dog, or watching Netflix. Okay? Just being real here, okay? Another thing you have to lose is possibly your pride. Because maybe this person does message back and they say something crazy like, oh my gosh, are you one of those Beachbody people? I hate Beachbody people. Can you never talk to me again? Maybe. Like 1 out of every 5 million people actually says something crazy like that, okay? So maybe you do actually get embarrassed and insulted by someone, okay? What else do you have to lose? Do you have any money to lose? I don't think so. Do you have any friendships to lose? Now, if someone actually decides not to be your friend because you try to sell them Shakeology, I really got to wonder if they're actually a friend, right? So I don't think we have any friendships to lose. So what we have to lose is 10 or 15 minutes of our time and maybe our pride if they are that random weird psycho person that probably we need to block anyways, right? But let me ask you this. What do you have to gain? What I've learned, and most top coaches that I work with would agree with this, for every 10 people you start conversations with, you can usually close a sale on about 1 of them, okay? Which means 5 people are going to ignore you. 2 people are going to say, yes, I want it. I'll do anything in the world to get it. And then the next day, their Facebook and Instagram is completely deleted and you never hear from them again because they were abducted by aliens. And then 2 of them say, not now, but maybe next month when we have a little extra cash. 1 of them says yes. Okay? So what do you have to gain? You have, number 1, a person that will eventually buy from you. Now, if that person is like you, I'm assuming most of you before you had Beachbody had some personal issues. Anybody have any personal issues? Okay? Most people were unhealthy. Most people are out of shape. Most people had low self-esteem. Most people, if you're a mom, probably had kind of lost your identity a little bit in the fact of getting married and then having kids. And now you've got all of these other crazy things to take care of that you love so much, but something inside of you still longs for something outside of the house to make a difference and help people. If you're a dad like me, I played sports my whole life. I got really big into music in my late teenage years, and playing the guitar did not keep me in any type of cardiovascular shape. I know it's crazy, but sitting in a chair and playing the guitar does not help the lungs at all. And so I got really out of shape by the age of 20, honestly. I couldn't even run a mile. I played basketball, football, and ran track in high school. By the age of 20, I couldn't run a mile. So for me, it was about getting that athleticism back, feeling like a man again, having 3 boys. I wanted to be like the dad on the playground that's like throwing them around and crawling all over the monkey bars with them. I didn't want to be the dad watching on the sidelines. For all of us, before we found Beachbody, we had something in our life that was missing, that Beachbody filled the gap in for, right? I'm not even a Beachbody coach, but I've done the workout programs for like 4 years and I love them, okay? And so here's the thing. Chances are every single person that has not yet discovered what you have to offer is dealing with at least one, if not all of these issues. Some of them right now, literally as we speak, are sitting on the couch contemplating taking their life. Some people, as we speak, are this close to calling a very serious relationship quits. And some of them maybe actually there is problems with the relationship, but I would bet a lot of them really there's problems on the inside and they don't know how to solve it other than trying to change outside things. Am I right? Now, what if I told you that you could save one of those people's life? Just one. That they could find their identity, they could find their health, they could find their strength, they could find their confidence. And 3 months from now, if not sooner, 3 months from now, they could have a complete 180 on the inside, which would then affect everything that happens on the outside. I always tell people that our outward success is an expression of our inward growth. You get someone eating right and working out and feeling good, I'm telling you, everything in their life starts to change for the good. And here's the thing. We are sitting on the couch with all the answers, all the help that they need, the accountability, the products, the programs, all of it. And we're not starting new conversations because we're scared that someone is going to ignore our message. So let me ask you this. What do you have to lose versus what do you have to gain? Someone's life could literally be in your hands right now. And the only difference is something like this. Hey, I saw you had a great Valentine's Day yesterday. How are things going? That right there could be the difference in someone finding life or someone losing life. But that's not even the whole story, guys. What if they have such an incredible transformation that they decide, I want to try out this coaching thing too? And what if they actually become a successful Beachbody coach that not only has a physical transformation and an inward transformation, but they have a financial transformation? Guys, my whole life, I've basically been poor. Now, when I say poor, I don't mean homeless. Let me explain what I mean by poor. Here's what I mean by poor. My day job that I worked for almost 10 years, no paid time off whatsoever, which means these last 2.5 weeks that I've been sick, a year ago, I would have had to work through that. I don't know how I would have even done. I look back and I'm literally just amazed at what I used to be able to do just because I had to. I had no paid vacation. Me and my wife have literally, we've been married 12.5 years, have never once been on a vacation. For us, vacation equals going somewhere for the weekend. And honestly, until my business took off, that weekend trip was to Missouri to see her family. I don't know how many of you have been to Branson, Missouri. It's not that cool, okay? Like, maybe if you go there on purpose for vacation, I don't know, you go to the Andy Griffith show, maybe that's cool. I don't know. But we go there to see family. I love my family. That is not a vacation, okay? My wife, until my business took off, actually spoke at Super Saturday in Seattle in October. That was the first time she'd been on an airplane, ever. It was the first time I'd been on a plane since I was 18. We had 3 kids, and this is part of the story that I hate to tell, but I have to because I know other people are going through it and they need to hear it. They would bring home birthday invitations from school. And we would literally, as crappy as this sounds, avoid those invitations, hoping they would get lost so that our kids would forget about the party. Because if they remembered and I had to take them, I would have to buy their friend a birthday present, and I didn't have money to do that. And so instead of just saying, hey, I'm poor, I don't have money to buy your friend a present, I would just ignore them. And with 3 kids, things get lost pretty easily, guys. We got like 7 TV remotes. I don't know where any of them are, okay? So if I just ignored them for a few days, they disappear. And then guess what? I don't have to take my kids to a birthday party. That sucks. Do you know how many birthday parties my kids missed out on because their dad was poor? Christmas time. Not trying to make anybody cry. I just want to be real with everybody, okay? Christmas time. Usually between our 3 kids, we would spend about $100 on all 3. Not $100 each. $100 total on our 3 kids. And here's what's really sad about it is it was $100 we didn't have. We would literally eat spaghetti for a week to make up for the fact that we just spent $100 that we didn't have so that our kids could have some type of Christmas. And once again, I don't tell any of this to make any of you sad or feel bad for me and my family, okay? I've built a great business. Our life has had a complete 180 since my business took off. But I want you to know, if you're not struggling with something like that right now, somebody is. Somebody is struggling right now, and you are the only person that can connect them to a better life. How incredible would it be to be that connection, to help people find themselves in their health, find themselves inwardly, build an entire new life by design, and you be the person that they have to thank for their new life. Once again, what do you really have to lose versus what do you have to gain? Now, I don't know exactly what every single person on this call is struggling with as far as fear goes. But I'm pretty sure there isn't a single fear in this business. I've talked to a lot of Beachbody coaches, okay? I mentor about 25 Beachbody coaches one-on-one. I've had about 300 Beachbody coaches in my training groups for the last 4 months. I've talked to a lot of people. And I have not found anybody that's struggling with something more severe than what you have to gain by helping people. If I'm wrong, call me out at the end of it. I'll give some time for Q&A. Just call me out. But I really, really doubt anyone has anything to lose that even compares to what you have to gain for yourself, for your own family, and for the families of others. Think if you could just help one person, the impact that that would make on their family and their future and their family's future. Now, think if you hit SC5 every single month. That's 3 people's lives that you changed. Over the course of a year, that's 36 people. That's 36 families. Do you want to know how you do that, guys? You face your fears. You decide that what you have to gain and what others have to gain is much more powerful than what you have to lose. And if all of this still isn't enough for you, the third thing that I use personally to overcome my fears is I have a very strong emotional connection to my personal why. Now, I obviously just went on for like 15 minutes telling you the story of where I come from, the kind of life that me and my wife have had for the last 12 years. And the reason for that is because I have such an incredible connection to what I had to fight through. There are too many distractions in life trying to tell us that life is comfortable, life's okay the way it is, it's not that bad, it's really not worth working that hard for. But you got to decide that the changes you want to see in your life, just like you did for your health journey, are worth all of the pain in the world if that's what it takes to change the life for you and your family. Whether you have kids or don't have kids, whether you're married or not married, you've got to decide that you are worth your very best life and absolutely nothing less. I don't know about you guys, but I do not want to live a life anything less than what my very best is. I don't want to wake up one day at the age of 70 and go, man, I feel like I probably could have had something a little bit better than that, right? You ever went to a restaurant and you like order something and you're like, that was a really stupid order. Like I probably should have got the chicken Alfredo because the spaghetti and meatballs, I don't know what I was thinking. Anybody ever done that? Okay, that's okay at lunch. Don't do that with your life. Don't allow your life to pass you by just to realize you could have given more. You could have had more. You could have done more. You could have experienced more. You could have helped more people. Comfort is the enemy of success. It's really easy to be comfortable, guys. Like, there's a lot of really good shows on Netflix, man. I discovered that while I was sick. I haven't watched TV in a few years, and while I was sick, man, I discovered some really cool TV shows that now that I'm feeling better, I'm going to have to, like, keep my Xbox just, like, hidden away or something so that I can't access Netflix. There's a lot of good stuff to comfort us and make us feel like everything's okay and have a good laugh. But life is way too big and way too valuable to just watch it pass by or to watch someone else on the TV screen. I'm not against TV. I'm not saying you can't enjoy some TV, okay? It's totally okay to live life in balance. But my point is, don't allow your life to pass you by because you were too afraid to live the life you really wanted. For the rest of your life, Whether you go all in with Beachbody or not, you're going to face fear. And I always say this, the only difference between successful people and Beachbody, I work with 3 of the top 30 coaches in the company. The only difference between them and people who aren't successful is that people who aren't successful make up excuses when they run into fear. And people who are successful keep moving forward in spite of their fears. One of my clients who hit top 10 in 2015, when we first started working together 9 months ago, was afraid to do team calls. She didn't even do her own team calls. 9 months later, she's a top 10 coach in the entire company. Now she's going to have to speak at Summit. Now she's going to have to speak on like a national wake-up call. Now she's going to have to speak for some pretty big audiences. And literally 9 months ago, she was scared to speak for her own team. But you know what she did? She did it in spite of her fear. I have never once given that girl a challenge that she hasn't risen up to immediately, because she understands the only way to have success is to face your fears every day. She is a top 10 coach. She has been a Beachbody coach for 1.5 years. 1.5 years, guys. She's a 7-star diamond, top 10 coach. She literally blows me away with her ability to overcome her fears. Many of you look at top 10 coaches and you think, man, that must be nice. I bet they're not afraid of anything. I bet they just have everything put together. No, they don't. They pay me a lot of money to talk to me once a week for a reason, because they don't have it all together. I don't have it all together. John Maxwell doesn't have it all together. None of us have it all together. Every single one of us is just waking up every single day and facing whatever fear is waiting for us so that we can push forward to a new level to help more people. So I hope that tonight has helped you. I want to give you a homework assignment, because I always tell people that if there is no homework, all we did was have a good chat. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to just help you feel good. I want to help you do good. I want to help you change your life. My mission statement is to equip and empower people to live out their legacy. I want to see you live your greatest life. So here's your homework. I want you to create a video, and I want you to talk about what your biggest fear in this business is. And then I want you to talk about which step you heard tonight that helped you the most, that you are going to implement to help you face that fear and ultimately overcome it, okay? I want you to make this video, and here's what I want you to do. Post it in your team page. Whichever one of your furthest uplines is represented in this call, hopefully you see them. If not, maybe you can find out after the call. But then also, if you've got the guts, post it to your personal page and tag me in it. Now, you don't have to do that part, okay? Because I know that part's a little scary. I want you to post it for sure in your team page in a very safe place, okay? But if you really, really, really want to be crazy, go ahead and post it on your personal page and tag me in it, okay? Once again, you don't have to do that part. That's just extra option for people who want to be extra gutsy, okay? So I am going to give away 3 free spots. I'm going to say goodbye to Periscope now. Goodbye, Periscope. Have a great night. Because I need to use Siri. Siri is my best friend. So we've got 3 pages of people on here tonight. You know what? We better take pictures before I forget, because I will straight up forget, okay? So let's take a picture real quick. I know all of you want to have your picture taken, right? We all live on social media. That's our business, right? Okay, so page 1, get your hair all fixed. Make sure you look perfect. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we'll go to page 2. Let's take another picture. I'm sure you don't know which page you are on my screen, so just smile every time, okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay, page 3. Make sure we get everybody. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. So there's 3 pages of people. That is, Well, 40 times 3 would be 120, Josh. So we're going to give away 3 groups tonight. I'm going to use Siri here. I'm going to ask Siri to pick a number between 1 and 20, or 1 and 120, okay? We're going to go through 3 numbers. 3 people are going to win a free spot. If you win the spot, please just message me on Facebook. Let me know that you're a winner. You'll get a free spot in my group, Clarity and Focus. If you've already been through the group, you can either use the money toward one of my other training groups, or you can give a free spot to one of your coaches to my training group, okay? And then we'll open up for question and answer here in just a second, okay? All right, Siri.
Josh, sorry,
Yes.
I'm totally cutting you off.
No, you're okay.
I think there's only 58 participants. On the 3rd page, it has like repeats of people.
Oh, really? 2, 4, 5.
I think so.
25. Oh, you're right. Okay. Because it's 25 per sheet, not 40. Why did I think 40? 40's the old cutoff limit if you don't upgrade your account. Thank you, Danielle. So what was that number again?
It's 57 now.
57. Thank you. Yeah. You're awesome.
You're welcome.
Okay, so let's do this. Pick a number between 1 and 57. So the first one is 8. So this is obviously going to be on my screen, not on your guys's, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Our first winner, forgive me if I say your name wrong, is Taryn Simpson. Taryn, can you hear me? You are my first winner. Pick a number between 1 and 57.
1.
Okay, Siri said 1. Really? That's not fun. But Beth Diamond, you are the next winner. I don't know if you can see me. It looks like your video's turned off, but can you hear me? Can you hear me? Say something in the chat box if you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You can talk too. That's totally fine. Beth, you are the next winner. Let's have some fun because she's choosing low numbers. So pick a number between 30 and 57.
It's 57.
57. Okay. Siri, you are weird. So let's go to my very last person on here. And my very last person is actually a phone number. It is 352-328-7449. Can you hear me? Can you unmute yourself for a second? Here, I'll unmute you. Can you hear me? Oops, sorry. Okay, I just unmuted you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's Melissa Doyle.
Melissa Doyle. Okay, you just won a free spot.
Yay!
So shoot me a message when the call's over, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so for everyone else, thank you all so much for being on the call tonight. I appreciate it so much. As soon as this is done, I'm going to let it process. I'll post it to my YouTube page. I'll try to get it to as many people as I can. If you didn't win a free spot tonight, you can go to my website. It's joshuacoates.com. I've got 3 different training groups there that are very specific for different spots that people get stuck in their Beachbody business. The first one is called Clarity and Focus. It's specifically for people that have a hard time staying motivated. Thank you, Chrissy. For people that have a hard time staying motivated to work their business on a daily basis. My first year in business, honestly, I was overwhelmed. I was confused. I felt like, I call it brain fog. Anybody ever felt like you got brain fog? Your brain is in like 30 places at once. And so you're never actually focused on any of the one things in your business, which means nothing ever gets done. Nothing ever moves forward. And you feel like a failure every single day. Anybody ever felt like that? Well, I did for my whole first year. So once I got it figured out, came up with a system to help me focus on the proper things every single day to make sure instead of being scatterbrained, I was focusing on 2 or 3 things every day to help me build momentum and move my business forward. So Clarity and Focus is specifically for all the fog brainers that need some help coming up with a daily game plan and staying motivated. My next group is called The Art of Recruiting. The Art of Recruiting is specifically for people who have figured out how to hit Success Club on a regular basis, but now your main struggle is you can't find anyone that wants to work the business. And so even though you're selling challenge packs, this whole residual income thing ain't working out too well for you because you can't build a team, right? And that sucks when you can't build a team, because that's the whole point of multi-level marketing. I know Carl doesn't like those words, but it's kind of what it is. And so you want to build a team. And so the art of recruiting, I've taken the most common practices that all of the top recruiters in the business use. I work with a lot of them one-on-one. I put it into a 4-week boot camp. Each week there's going to be a teaching on something very specific that you need to be doing daily if you want to become a more consistent recruiter. Every single day in the group, there will be a challenge and a check-in, just like your guys' health and fitness challenge groups, to help you stay on track and make sure you're doing the right things every single day, so that over 4 weeks, you can build up a new momentum and really a new habits of doing the right things to make sure you're recruiting coaches. That literally is my very first month to run it. Starts this month. This month is sold out 70 spots. I have a few people on the call tonight that are going to be in that group, but you can go ahead and enroll for my group that starts the very beginning of April while there's still spots available for that. And then my last group is called The Art of Leading. It's specifically for people who have already built a team, but now you need help figuring out how to motivate and mentor the people you have on your team. So you've kind of mastered the art of selling, the art of recruiting, but now you're like, I got all these people on my team and I don't know how to get them motivated, and I don't know how to get them trained and how to get them on board. The art of leading is specifically for you to come up with very simple ways to motivate, mentor, and multiply. So you guys can all go to my website, joshuacoates.com. While you're there, get my free ebook. It's called The Mess Before Success. I wrote a book basically talking about, from being a teenager all the way till now, all of the messy things that my life has been through. Because a lot of times when we see people that we think have success, we think that it just happened overnight. It was magical. It was just like a Disney movie. They woke up and everything was there. But I wanted people to really see the mess that my life was that got me to where I am, so that you could know, regardless of what you're going through in life, regardless of how crazy your life seems or whatever you're going through, if you just keep moving forward, your mess can turn into success. So thank you guys all so much for being on tonight. I'm going to open up for just a couple minutes for some Q&A time. But do me a huge favor. Come find me on Facebook. Obviously, my name's Josh Coates. You can hopefully figure that out. It's in the box right around my face. But my like page is Legacy Leadership. And that's where I announce like all my new trainings that are coming out, any new products that I have, new books that I'm working on. So check out that page. So now I'm going to basically, I know this is going to be a little chaotic. Do me a favor. If you have a question, go ahead and just type your name in the chat box, and then I'll go unmute you. That way we don't have like 60 people unmute themselves at the same time. Is that cool? So if you have a question, go ahead and just type your name in there, and then I'll unmute you and we'll let you ask away. If you don't have a question, I'm really worried that I either was too good or really bad. Hopefully not really bad. Haley. What's up, Haley? How are you?
Hey, Josh. My question, when you're doing your say it out loud, do you mean specifically to say the fear itself out loud?
Good question. So yes, I would say like the whole situation out loud. So say what you're afraid of, but also say what could possibly happen if you actually do what you're afraid of. So just to give you a perfect example, last night I'm laying in my bed. Okay, I'm afraid that maybe there's something creepy in my bedroom right now. Okay, I'm afraid that maybe it's a ghost. Okay, if it really is a ghost, I don't really believe in ghosts, but if it really is, I mean, what's it gonna do? I mean, like, what is there really to be scared of? Is it gonna like reset my alarm clock? Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, if it's not a ghost and it actually is a burglar, they're in my bedroom. I don't have anything to steal in my bedroom. All the good stuff's in the living room. They've gone too far. They suck. I don't really have to be like, in other words, talk out the entire situation out loud so that you can hear not just what you're afraid of, but really what you're afraid of the results actually happening. Because what we don't think about, we think about the thing we're afraid of, but we don't think about if we do that thing, like what will actually come out of that. Most of the time, if we kind of talk ourselves through it, we realize that the stuff that could actually happen is like nothing at all. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So do you say out loud the like what I have to lose and what I have to gain part too? Like in that whole dial.
That's up to you. That's kind of like that's kind of like a separate thing that I use when my fear gets a little more intense. And I don't usually have to say it out loud. Honestly, usually if I just think about it or even write it down, I just see how stupid I am. If it helps you to say it out loud, then that's totally cool. But I usually don't need to, because once you start making that list, it's like, oh, I'm an idiot. There's really nothing to lose.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, Haley. Thanks for hopping on tonight.
Yeah, of course. I think Danielle had a question.
Okay, let me go find Danielle. How about Danielle? Can you just unmute yourself?
I just wanted to know if you could repeat the homework one more time. I know you said to make a video about your greatest fear, and talk about what step you discussed helped you. What else? You had said a couple other things.
Yeah. So first of all, say what your biggest fear in this business is.
Okay.
And then second, say which step you learned tonight that you're going to use to face that fear. And then post it to your team page. And then if you really are gutsy, go ahead and put it on your personal page and tag me in it.
Perfect.
Obviously, I'm not in all of your team pages. So if it goes to the team page, that's awesome. I just won't see it, which is totally okay. Like, I don't have to see it. But if you tag me in it, I can actually go check out your guys' videos too.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Nicole says, my mic isn't working. There were 3 steps to overcoming your fears. I only got 2. Sorry, I may have ADD'd it. It's totally cool, Nicole. I'm ADD all over the place. Number 1, say it out loud. Number 2, what do I have to lose versus what do I have to gain? Number 3, have a strong emotional connection to your why. Hopefully that helped, Nicole. Anybody else? Any questions? What an awesome group tonight, man. This was rad. Did you guys enjoy tonight's call? Was this cool, bringing together like 5 different teams? I loved it. Anybody else? Anybody else? Last chance. Last call. I see no comments. No comments. Oh, awesome call. That's not a question, Beth, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. No, seriously, thank you, Beth. Thank you guys all so much. Like I said, as soon as it's done, I'll let it process. I'll try to get it up to YouTube before I go to bed tonight. And then I will message all of you that I contacted to be a part of the call. I'll message all of you guys either before I go to bed tonight or first thing in the morning with the link so you can share it with all of your teams, okay? Thank you guys so much. Please, please, please find me on Facebook. Say hi. Drop a message. I want to meet all of you, okay? Good night, guys. Have a good night.